Who brought us The Office, Extras and Afterlife. But in a recent interview, Ricky Gervais says writing comedy is more difficult these days as people struggle to understand sarcasm. In fact, he went on to say that we've all just got a bit thicker. Do you agree, Janet?
I love Ricky Gervais. I think what I cherish about him is he's not afraid of upsetting people. He is a master of sarcasm and irony, and that is the British sense of humour at the end of the day. I love that cutting put down. I kind of grew up with comedians like Kenneth Williams, who was just like, now he wouldn't be allowed. I mean, there'd be whole communities outraged because of his whole manner. I think that humour has got all sorts of different ports of call. There's all different kinds of humour. And Ricky Gervais, to me, is a national treasure. What he means by saying people are thicker is typical provocative remark from him, is that they want their humour more straightforward, they get more easily offended, they take the words you're saying at face value instead of realising you're making a point. And it's just, it is depressing. I mean, over the years, I've worked with loads and loads of different comedians. I mean, back in the day when I was a producer, I worked with people like Dennis Leary, and the American comedian, who make all sorts of jokes about throat cancer. And I got in terrible, terrible trouble for putting on the BBC a sketch about throat cancer.
But then I just think, I don't know, there's a lot of comedians who I absolutely love who do sarcasm really well, and I think they're hugely talented in their jobs, but they're now in a situation where they are able to show that comedy to the world, because maybe 10, 15 years ago, a lot of those doors would have been closed to them to be able to do that. I mean, I'm thinking about people like Judy, for example. She's about to, you know, she's on tour at the moment, and I just think her sarcastic wit is incredible. You know, you've got the likes of Mo the Comedian, you've got Babatunde Eleshie, you've got so many comedians who do sarcasm really, really well, but would have struggled in this industry 10, 15 years ago, but are now doing it on their own. So I think sort of saying that we don't understand sarcasm, I don't think is particularly correct, because there are comedians...
I think people nowadays, younger people especially, are just very, very offended by everything. And I think it's really hard for sarcasm. You know, even sometimes, you know, I'm so sarcastic. I love sarcastic humour.
And I've been the brunt.
And she has been the brunt of it.
I've borne it well.
What's brilliant is, A, she gives it back. B, she's never offended because she knows it's sarcasm. Because actually, if I didn't like her, I'd probably be super nice to her because I'd be scared of her. But now I just go, yeah, whatever, Janet. But what I mean is, then you get people going, oh, you see you and Janet really rowing on telly, and I'm like, oh, just lighten up. And also, stop being offended for someone else. You know, I had someone offended for me recently, even though I found it hilariously funny. They were like, they did a whole story on it and people commenting, being offended for me. Now, although that's kind because they might be looking out for me, unless I'm saying I'm offended.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Kelle?
Well, for a start, I'm not thick. But I do find that people... At moments... Love that. I set you up nicely there, didn't I? Beautiful! I love that. Yeah, I have my moments. But what I mean is, I think broader, I think people don't read enough. So people just take headlines and don't read the rest of it. And that's where I find it frustrates me, when people just don't read. It's like, just read the whole article rather than just the headline.
And get really like, oh!
Yeah, and they get all agitated by a headline. It's like, if you read a little bit more, you'd see she was absolutely fine about it.